Have you ever looked at yourself and thought, maybe I'm just lazy, maybe I'm not trying hard enough, maybe something is wrong with me? If so, you're not alone. Many people spend years believing they are broken, when in reality, they're simply exhausted. And there's a big difference between the two. When you're broken, something stops working. But when you're burned out, you've been working for too long without enough recovery. Yet burnout has a strange way of disguising itself. It doesn't always look dramatic. It doesn't always arrive with a breakdown. Sometimes it arrives quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, until one day you no longer feel like yourself. You wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep. Tasks that once felt easy now feel overwhelming. Simple decisions feel exhausting, and motivation seems to disappear. So you blame yourself. You tell yourself to work harder, push harder, try harder. But that's often the exact opposite of what you need, because burnout isn't usually caused by weakness. It's often caused by strength that has been overused. Think about that for a moment. The very qualities people admire in you, your discipline, your responsibility, your willingness to keep going, can become the same qualities that lead you toward burnout, especially if you never allow yourself to rest. One of the biggest signs of burnout is emotional numbness. You don't feel excited, you don't feel inspired, you don't even feel deeply sad. You just feel flat, like the colors of life have faded. Things you once loved no longer bring you joy, not because you've changed, but because your mind and body are asking for recovery. Another sign is constant fatigue, not normal tiredness. The kind of fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, the kind that follows you everywhere, the kind that makes even small tasks feel heavy. Then there's irritability. Little things suddenly bother you. Small inconveniences feel bigger than they should. You become less patient, less present, not because you're a bad person, but because your emotional reserves are running low. Burnout can also make you feel disconnected, disconnected from your goals, disconnected from people, disconnected from yourself. You start going through life on autopilot, doing what needs to be done without feeling truly engaged. And perhaps one of the most painful signs is guilt. You know you need rest. You know you need a break. But resting makes you uncomfortable. You feel guilty for slowing down, guilty for doing less, guilty for putting yourself first, as if your worth depends entirely on productivity. But here's the truth many people never learn. You are a human being, not a machine. Machines are designed to operate continuously. Human beings are not. Every part of nature understands this. The seasons change. The sun sets every day. Trees shed their leaves. Even the earth itself rests. Yet somehow, many of us expect ourselves to keep producing endlessly, without pause, without recovery, without compassion. And then we wonder why we feel empty, why we feel exhausted, why we feel lost. The truth is, you cannot pour endlessly from an empty cup. At some point, even the strongest person needs restoration, not because they're weak, but because they're human. And maybe that's what you need to hear today. You are not broken. You do not need to fix yourself. You do not need to become stronger. You may simply need space, space to breathe, space to rest, space to reconnect with yourself. Because healing doesn't always happen through doing more. Sometimes healing begins when you finally stop running, when you finally stop proving, when you finally stop carrying everything alone and allow yourself to recover. So if you've been feeling exhausted lately, If you've been questioning yourself, if you've been wondering why everything feels harder than it used to, be gentle with yourself. Maybe you're not failing. Maybe you're not losing your way. Maybe you're not broken at all. Maybe you're simply burned out. And maybe what your mind and body have been asking for all along is permission to rest.